And welcome into E5280sports.com and Lifestyle. This is our brand spanking new show. On the Mark, went on the mic with Mark Saxton, Michael Spillin, and we're kind of switching it up on these Sundays. Mark, how are you doing this weekend?
Good. A lot of sports. Was able to catch up on a lot of different aspects. So nice. I'm a little tired. Don't want the week to start. How about you?
Yeah, exactly the same. Mondays just come too fast nowadays. I don't know what it is, but I didn't have a lot of fun. So time definitely flew without having fun, if that's possible. But yeah, it's been hot here. We've touched almost 100 the last 3 days. So you didn't think Denver could do that, did you?
No, I really didn't. I didn't think you guys could. Over here, we were about 100 all week long. So
yeah. Denver nearly touched 100. I want to say Friday it was scalding. Right now it's 91, so it almost was there. But it's supposed to cool off this week, 70s and 80s. So that'll be a nice change of pace from Friday. Was absolutely, you could probably cook an egg on the sidewalk outside. But yeah, how are the new digs? I see you got your sports up behind you finally.
Yeah, slowly but surely coming along. I got to put some shelves up. I want to try and get a desk in here. Gonna put some of my helmets up, some of my signed memorabilia. That'll be fun.
There you go.
Coming along.
There you go. That's what we need in the background, Mark. So let's get on it.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're kind of flying at the seam of our pants in this one. We're going to do a show that's half sports, half entertainment. We're going to ask what our favorite summertime entertainment activities, hobbies, things to watch, stuff of that nature. We're going to throw some segments out on the wall, see if they stick. And yeah, we're just figuring it out. We've been talking about it for weeks and still unprepared. So that's how we roll. We've workshopped a couple segments, so maybe we'll throw them out there again, see what sticks. We're kind of acting as your sort of NBA Finals Game 7. We haven't talked for a while, Mark. Game 7 is tonight in about an hour from right now between the Pacers and the Thunder. And unfortunately, depending how you look at it, the series is moving back to OKC for tonight for Game 7. What has been your impression, your thoughts, your reaction, just everything rolled into one about this series so far? And I guess second part of the question, can Indiana pull it out in OKC? It's a tough place to play.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, I feel like this has been like the most OKC series where they blow out, then get blown out. With Halliburton getting hurt, I thought for sure might be the end, and then Pascal just doing his thing. I mean, they've given the people what they wanted. 7 games. It's been a war. It's been a lot of exciting ball, a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting to see how Halliburton comes out tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how Pascal comes out tonight. I mean, Shea's doing his thing always. It's just, for me, I fear for the Pacers, like you said. OKC being a very tough place to play. OKC with all that young talent, and when they get on one, it's very hard to stop them. So we'll see what they can do. I'm still sticking with my pick. Still taking the Pacers. I think the Pacers are going to pull it out tonight.
I think a lot of people are hoping the same. I think someone said this in the Denver OKC series, and that was, the role players just play better at home. And we've seen that almost in every single series and every single game so far in these playoffs. Just the home team just always has it when it comes to role players. You've seen it in Indiana with TJ and the guys off the bench, and guys maybe a casual fan's never heard of, and like Neesmith and some of those names. And OKC, obviously, with Joe coming off the bench, with with those guys coming off the bench. So with Wiggins coming off the bench, so there's a lot of names maybe casual fans wouldn't recognize, but in these playoffs, obviously national TV, playing at home, these guys are making, sort of a name for themselves. But yeah, this one's going to be a tough one. I hope Indiana, like you, pulls it out. I'm really hoping that somehow they do. And you heard what Halliburton said after Game 6 in Indy. He said, we didn't want these guys to celebrate on our home floor. I really hope Indiana gets to celebrate on OKC's home floor, just because. And then I saw, I don't know if it was the Thunder's official Twitter account, but it said, let's shock the world. And I'm like, you're not shocking any. You're the number one seed. You guys were predicted to basically sweep this series, right? Nobody gave Indiana a chance.
No, I completely agree. I think it was kind of funny when he said let's shock the world. I think, like you said, everybody kind of just they look them by the wayside every time with Indiana. I feel like almost every series that they played this postseason, and I'm really hoping that Indiana comes in and shocks the world tonight in OKC.
Yeah, if anybody's shocking the world, it's Indiana, right? I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. Indiana is definitely shocking the world if they pull it out tonight. If they were to win in Indiana, maybe it wouldn't be quite as shocking, but given the amount of favoritism, I don't know if that's even the correct term, that OKC had throughout these whole playoffs, being the number one seed, rightfully so. I mean, shoot, they won 68 games this year, Mark, so they should be favored in pretty much every series that they've played. And so now we come down to Game 7. You mentioned Tyrese Halliburton's injury. A lot of people said in Game 6 he was faking it. He looked fine. I to be honest, didn't watch much of that game. I don't know what I had going on, but it is funny, though, how when Aaron Gordon of the Nuggets was complaining about not getting him enough days off in between games, now they're giving him seems like almost a week off in between these games. Because when they last play Thursday, so they're getting 2 days off right now in between these games, which is fine and whatever. But, I mean, you don't really have to go that far between Indianapolis and Oklahoma City, right? It's like an hour-and-a-half flight.
Right. Well, even then, normally wasn't it only one day? You get to finish the game, basically travel the night of the game, get to the next city, and then have that day off, and then you play.
That's what I mean. Now they're giving them 2 days off. It didn't.
That's what I said. It doesn't even make sense.
Have they always done this in the finals?
I don't know. Maybe it's that Mandela effect, but I could have sworn it was only 1 day in between.
Yeah. Now they're giving them 2 days off. They're giving them a rest day, a travel day, and then basically you have half the day to, I don't know what you do, shoot around or practice or something before the game, because you got until
prime time
to I guess tighten up some loose strings or I don't know.
Those clubhouses, they're as good as hotel rooms. You can chill and relax in there, get some food.
Maybe get last minute treatment or last minute shots up, just last minute whatever you need to do, game plan, I guess. I don't know how restricted the NBA is on practices as much as the NFL is nowadays. NFL, obviously, they restricted it because of hitting. Again, stupid, because that's what you do for a living. But
right.
Yeah, so we will see what happens tonight. Game 7. We're both on the same page. We're hoping that Indiana pulls it out on the road. It's going to be tough. Like you said, once the Thunder goes on those heaters, it is really tough to slow them down. They obviously play better at home. Indy plays a little bit better at home. I think Indiana, though, they had a much better record on the road than what people had thought. So we will see what they do tonight. Need big games from all your guys, all your role players. Is there a way? Obviously you can't fabricate being at home as a road team, but how, if you're a coach, if you're a player, how do you try to, for lack of a better term, make this as much like a home game as you can? Obviously, the crowd is totally against you. Obviously, again, referees are always brought up. Officiating is always brought up. they may lean one way or the other depending on who's at home, stuff like that. But is there even a way to fabricate being at home when you're a road team? How do you just block all that out?
I don't think there's a way to fabricate it at all. I think, especially when it comes to these finals games, the cities and the teams, they make sure that they stack out as much as they can with the home crowd. I think the only way to do it is punch them in the teeth right away, and don't give that crowd any reason to get excited. I think that's the only way to kind of take that out of the game, is literally coming out swinging. I mean, here's what I've kind of gotten disappointed just with professional sports as a whole. I feel like this last decade or so, it's game 7. So regardless of what you do, there is no tomorrow. So you very much, and you got more injuries on the Pacers than you do the Thunder. So if you're Indiana, I see no reason why we don't come out playing like there's no tomorrow, being dangerous and coming out swinging to try and keep this crowd out of it and keep this crowd sitting down.
Yeah, and I guess like the small things too. How many chances do you take? Like how many steals do you go for that could lead to a 5-on-4? How many of those things do you go for when it's game 7? Diving out on the floor, taking those chances, trying to volleyball a rebound out to save a possession, even though it could end up in the other team's hands. Those are the stuff that game 7s could come down to, the small things. So we'll be on the lookout for all of those things as well. They call football the game of inches. I want to say almost every sport is a game of inches. A game-winning free throw. You hit the front of the iron. It's an inch away from going in. Game-winning three. A rebound just outstretched, just over the hands of the guy who needs to get it, ends up in the other team's hands. So it almost seems like every sport is a game of inches, and it could come down to that type of game tonight.
Yeah, and I love how you bring that up, because if you think about it, especially in the paint, those points matter, because when both of these teams get on their heaters, it's mostly from 3-point land, and that's usually how they run away with it. If you're not eating up every possible point that you get the chance in the paint, it's gonna come back tenfold against you if your opponent comes back on a heater and starts draining threes like they're known to do.
Yeah, so we will see. Especially we talked about role players in these home games. You're gonna have Caruso, you're gonna have Wiggins, you're gonna have Isaiah Joe. You may get one of the other Williams for OKC coming off the bench. And on the Indiana side, you're gonna have TJ McConnell. Not sure who they're throwing in the starting lineup. You could see Neesmith in the starting lineup. You could see him coming off the bench. Those guys are huge for what both teams want to do, and so we will see. We will see. Didn't know if you saw that stat for TJ McConnell. It's like the most. I forgot what it was. I had a screen grab of it, but just a vital bench player for these Pacers coming off the bench. Even some people were saying if Indiana wins, he should win the MVP for the finals.
Yeah, he's coming in clutch, coming on and bench points. That's another great point to bring up.
Bench points.
Bench points are so huge, and the Pacers definitely. You got to be able to kind of bow your head and thank that man, because the work that's been done is absolutely phenomenal. And when everything's out on the floor and you guys are tired, especially when you guys already have nagging injuries, the bench is the only thing you got.
Yeah, and some of those guys are relied on. I mean, we've seen, man, his name just slipped my. He was actually on the Nuggets championship roster 2 years ago. He made a couple of clutch threes in these playoffs for Indiana, and it has been one of those kind of, I want to say this is probably the bench series, like the best bench series that we've seen in a while, because both teams have such great benches.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about for the Pacers, Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell obviously coming up doing their thing. When it comes to OKC, obviously, we've already talked about Joe. We've talked about Caruso. Um, but another big one, is Jay Williams doing his thing too. So, I mean, the bench has been pretty. It's what you need them to do, especially like I said in a series that's drug out, going to Game 7, when your opponent does go on heaters, and you're kind of just getting run up and down. You need these guys to come off the bench, stop some momentum, add some points, and I think this has been the greatest viewing of that this part of the postseason for
Yeah,
bench points.
yeah, and you've Obi Toppin huge and so a lot of times clunked off the bench. Like I mentioned, Neesmith, Andrew Nemhard, is he starting? Is he off the bench? I mean, he could be. Mathburn was huge in a couple games. The guy I was thinking was Thomas Bryant, kind of the backup center, so to speak, hit some clutch threes in that New York series. So there's there's a lot of bench players. I mean, you could almost throw five bench guys out for both of these teams and still be pretty competitive.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They're arguably a starting roster anywhere else in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah. So again, could come down to those small things: game of inches, bench points, um, just so many things it could come down to in Game 7, or like you said, OKC does just take a 20-point lead and not look back. I mean, their last couple of closing games have been, I think I saw an average of a 16-point victory. So they know how to close out series. At least when it comes down to Game 7, we've seen it in a couple series so far in this postseason. But man, I mean, being in Denver, it just shows you how if the Nuggets were 100%, Mark, this we may be talking about two different teams.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I don't know. It's almost kind of going back to the OKC thing. It's almost you can call it almost inconsistent because when they're on, they're almost unstoppable. When they're off, good God,
Yeah.
help them.
Everyone thought Minnesota would give them a run for their money, and they just gave Minnesota OKC just gave them a little slap on the butt and said, good try.
Right, right. Thanks for playing.
Yeah. And now, yeah, and now this is their second series going to a Game 7. So we will see. Again, game kicks off in about 30-40 minutes from right now. NBA Finals. We will have a champion in just a few short hours. Other NBA news big NBA news that went down today, Mark. Your boy Kevin Durant is no longer in Arizona. He gets traded to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the 10th overall pick this year, and then 5 future second-round picks. So a load going to Phoenix in exchange for Kevin Durant. I know a lot of people here in Denver were hoping the Nuggets would make some kind of move for Durant. Unfortunately, they're just so hamstrung with money right now. I don't know if they had the luxury. I don't know if you want to take that as a pun or not, but I don't know if they had a luxury of making that kind of move or anything like that. But the Western Conference shifted just a little bit because, I mean, he's staying in the Western Conference now. So Houston went from a young, up-and-coming team to you add a slice of one of those key veterans that you need. You did give up some young talent, mind you, and some future young talent in the future because of how many draft picks they traded them. But what did you make of this move? Are the Rockets the team to beat now in the West? I mean, obviously OKC is going to be running the table for a while with their young team. But what did this move tell you about the Rockets, maybe about Phoenix, and I guess the Western Conference as a whole?
This may be a hot take. This may be a hot take, but I think Phoenix is the winner for this one. I think Durant is I'm honestly shocked that they gave so much for him because I think I think he's done. I don't think he's going to be the saving grace that everyone wants him to be. And I hate saying that because I was a huge fan of Durant for a long time. just as a player. Really, didn't really care for any of the teams he's played on. Um, but I don't think this is going to be the do or die win or cry for the Rockets. I think they should have went and seeked elsewhere, especially after giving up so much future picks and moves and things like that. So I say good on the Suns. I think if anything, watch out for the Suns these next couple of years. Of course, we always say that, and the Suns find new ways to do Suns things and fall out. So I don't know. Maybe they could put it all together. Um, but yeah, I think the Rockets. I mean, I think they were already up and coming, like you were talking about. I don't think Durant's the one to take them to the promised land.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, he's getting up there in age, obviously. Still has a pretty lethal mid-range game, depending on, I guess, depending on who you ask. But again, as a Nugget fan, Mark, I would have probably gave up the same amount to get Kevin Durant to Denver. Like Michael Porter Jr., see ya. Like basically half the bench, see ya. Nuggets don't have it. Nuggets don't have any picks this year, so again, they don't have the luxury. They don't have the assets to really make any deals, unless you're a team that's willing and see potential in Porter to take on his contract, or maybe even take on half of his contract. I mean, that would help out a lot. So, honestly, Mark, a 40-year-old Durant is better than a 27-year-old Porter at this point. So.
I get it.
Yeah, and for 2 years, why the hell not? I mean, you got to maximize Jokic's window at this point. So you got to go all in for something, and now they're stuck in a weird position because good old Dario, whatever the F his name is, Saric, whoever they picked up last year from Golden State. He just exercised his $5.5 million option, so he's staying. Unless they can find a way to get rid of him, but yeah, they're just tied up and again hamstrung with so many contracts and no draft picks. They don't really have the assets to make any moves. But yeah, Houston now, again, Jalen Green was really inconsistent in the playoffs. A lot were kind of expected of him to do a lot in these playoffs and just kind of shuttered away from the moment. We all know the type of player Dillon Brooks is. I mean, good defensive guy, good agitator, good enforcer, whatever you want to call him. You know, he could go off for 20 points in a game, but then, you know, the next game he'll have like 2 points. But he is more of a defensive guy. So you don't really run any offensive plays for him, so to speak. You just, if he's open, you get him the ball, I guess. But so yeah, that's kind of where we are now in the NBA landscape. NBA Finals, big trade went down. Everyone was kind of waiting when and where KD would go. But how about this? The big three from the previous Oklahoma teams have all now been traded to the Houston Rockets at one point or another. And I'm talking
reunited, and it feels so good, huh? Kind of in a way.
Well, they're reunited, but they're not playing with each other.
Right.
But yeah, back in the day, James Harden got traded there. James Harden had some really good years in Houston, where he's won his MVP. Russell Westbrook got traded there. And, of course, now Kevin Durant has been traded there. Russell Westbrook, if you missed it about a week ago, opted out of his contract with Denver. So he is now once again a free agent. Maybe he'll link up with KD and the
Go back to Houston.
Yeah, and then you look at Phoenix. They are kind of overloaded with shooting guards now. You have Bradley Beal. You just acquired Jalen Green, who can kind of give you a stretch three position. He can really play a small forward position if you really needed him to. And then, of course, Devin Booker out there in Phoenix as well. So you kind of have an overloaded shooting guard room. So we will see what happens there. I know there has been some rumblings that Devin Booker was a little unhappy, but maybe he was unhappy with KD and you get that problem out of there. KD was looking to move on anyway. So maybe you killed two birds with one stone with that trade.
No, I agreed. And I think this trade might, like you said, might free up D-Book to do more of D-Book things. I mean, there wasn't as many games. I mean, like the beginning of the season, he was going off 30, 40 points, kind of doing his thing, getting in that groove. Like towards the end of the season, it kind of just fell off. So maybe these additions will help free him up and be able to kind of do what he's been known to do, and get back to that three shot and get back to kind of moving around the floor as needed.
Yeah, so we will see what happens with both of those teams come next year. So a lot of time now between now and the start of the season, October. So we got a few months now to see what happens. Plus you got the draft. So we will see what goes down here in a couple of months. Of course, the Mavericks have the first pick in the NBA draft. So we will see. A lot of trades could happen on draft night as well. All right, staying in the basketball realm of the world, WNBA season. You saw the huge fight the other day between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun. Obviously, dating back to some old Big Ten rivalry games between Ohio State and Iowa, and I'm talking, of course, about Caitlin Clark and J.C. Selden. I obviously a big Clark fan. I do like J.C. Selden as well, and yeah, I mean, just kind of boiling over time. You know, you heard Steph White, the head coach of Indiana, say, "Where are the officials during all of this?" Like, and then I honestly love Marina Mabry's game. I do. She's funny on Instagram. Like she's funny just all around. You know, she gets a foul call. All she does is smile. But she just comes out of nowhere and hip checks Caitlin Clark to the ground. And
It's
then
not
goes
even basketball anymore.
yeah, and then obviously goes back to the bench laughing. Does not get ejected. That's what I think shocked everybody. Like the whistle was way past blue. Like the play was way past over, and you just come out of nowhere and hit check CC to the ground. So that I mean, in retrospect, it's kind of funny to look back on, but you're just like, what are these what are the officials doing? Like, why was nobody ejected until like 46 seconds when homegirl Sophie Cunningham had to make an open field tackle on J.C. Selden. So
yeah, had to make her presence known.
yeah, again, you got some hair pulling, you got some. I mean, I love the memes that came out. They showed like Sophie Cunningham grabbing, and it said LeBron could never handle this type of physicality.
It's so true. It wouldn't hurt if it wasn't true, right? What they need to do, what I would love to see, and this would be funny as hell, if CC could show up to a game with a Vietnam style army helmet that says that has the peace sign and the carton of smokes here, maybe a couple rounds back here, and every time she steps foot on the floor, they just play Fortunate Son because she's under attack every time she goes out there.
Yeah, like, and this predates this season, obviously. Like I mean, people have thrown out the word jealousy, hate. Like I still don't really understand it to this day why she gets so much of it. You saw the ratings when she was out for a couple games. It went down 55%. Indiana lost today, but they had to move that Aces game from. They normally play at Mandalay Bay. There's a little stadium inside, or a little arena inside of Mandalay. They had to move it to T-Mobile Arena where the Vegas Golden Knights play because ticket demand was so freaking high, Mark, that a lot of these teams are moving games from their, maybe smaller arenas to the NBA arenas, to the NHL arenas, because Caitlin Clark's coming to town. I mean, and you still hate her for that? You still hate her? Hey, we just sold out freaking Caesars Palace Arena because Caitlin Clark came into town. But I'm still going to knock her on her ass because I don't like her.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of it, I do. I think a lot of it is they feel she shouldn't be the face of the league, and she is. And the other half of it is, imagine getting all the attention and then her shooting a three right in your face. You know what I mean? So I think that does boil up. Not that I'm making excuses or defending any of those ladies that are on the hunt, if you will. But Cece coming out and doing her thing every night, obviously getting all the attention, and she has the play to back it up. And I just think everybody hates that. And I don't know why. We were just talking about, it astonishes me the hate this woman gets when she does so much for the sport.
Yeah, and it's real. Honestly, it's not even her fault. Like she got drafted number one, not her fault. She did really well in college. Maybe a little her fault because she probably worked her ass off to be where she was. She probably worked her ass off to be where she is now, and like she said, like she's just like she said in that post game press conference, like I'm just here to play basketball. Like I I don't really know like why this is happening. She didn't say this part of it, but I don't really know why this is happening. But um, I would like to hear like I don't know if someone's asked like why do you think everyone hates you? I don't think anyone's really come out and said why do you think teams are gunning for you? Why do you think these players are hip checking you down to the ground like this is a hockey game? Like I don't know if those direct questions and maybe the people in those press conferences are I wouldn't I wouldn't say scared, but afraid to ask those questions because like she said, you guys are here to watch basketball. Let's talk about basketball. She said that in that post game press conference, and then Stephanie White kind of handled all like the extracurriculars, the officiating questions. But I would like to hear someone like ball up and just say, hey, why do you think you're being? It's clearly you're being targeted. Why do you think that is? I would love to hear her answer.
No, I agree, and I was actually going to bring it up next because it does astonish me in today's day and age, with as many platforms and news media sources and different vantage points that we have available to us. Not one person, like you said, has come out and said, "Hey, what the hell?" They've like shied away from it, and I mean it's very obvious. Nothing's hidden. The agenda is very much seen, and nobody. And but here's the other thing too: is even if she was asked, I'm not sure a publicist would really let her speak on it. I mean, I don't think I think it's a no-win situation. She's already hated, and if you open your mouth on it, it might even be worse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That could
Sorry, my
be that
dog
could
got
be
excited.
that could be he doesn't like it either. So there was yeah, and then it's just so and then I was gonna say the rookies like that came into the league today. Obviously, you're not going to have maybe the same flashing lights that you had like Caitlin Clark had just because of her college career. Even the hate that Angel Reese gets is getting a little much. I get it. She can't make a layup. She gets a lot of her own rebounds. But all the keyboard warriors that talk crap about her online, like she would smoke you guys. Honestly, like she would
Yeah.
absolutely destroy you guys in a game of basketball. I'm not a huge Angel Reese fan, but at this point, it's just getting kind of old. Like all of it's like, why is it so much drama? Again, drama brings views, drama brings clicks, drama brings eyeballs. I get it, but it's like you said, it's astonishing. And like I said, the rookies coming into the league this year. I mean, where's all the hate for Paige Becker? She had a pretty damn good college career. She just came off a national championship. She was the number one pick. She's a little white girl. Like, why isn't she getting all? I mean, look at Citrone and Kiki in Washington. I mean, destroying it in Washington. Um, Kiki was rookie of the month last month for the Eastern Conference. Citrone just had 29 points today, including the game-winning three against Dallas, against Paige Beckers. And shame on, I guess, the media or social. I don't know what media you want to blame, but for pinning now Caitlin Clark against Paige Beckers, that's embarrassing to pin
Yeah,
them against each other. Like
yeah, that's
I,
Bush. That's Bush League for sure.
I don't know what the relationship is. I don't know if they like each other. I think they play each other here in a couple of days, so I'm sure they'll show some good sportsmanship. But yeah, it's just so weird, so weird to see. The and like I said, maybe they're jealous because they're some of the vets are like, hey, we've been here for years, like, and then this little white girl comes in, and now we're getting like it's again still not her fault.
Right. Well, and and I'm glad you brought up the Angel Reese thing too. And I'm definitely not a fan, of Angel Reese, but I do think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she can't keep her mouth shut. But even then, it's unfair that these two ladies, for the in all the wrong light, and not fair, and not no fault of their own, getting all that media. But then you're taking away from Citrone, you're taking away from Paige. Um, having their rookie years and highlighting everything, that's going on early in their careers. And it's a footnote because CC keeps going into a UFC fight every time she freaking goes out on the floor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I completely agree with you. It's a shame. The league needs to be better for it, and they need to grow from this because it's going to get crazy, and somebody might really get hurt. You know what I mean?
Well, and Stephanie White put it perfectly. Again, the head coach of the Fever. She said the talent in this league is getting better. Like like it's on the rise. It's getting better. Like these girls are faster, quicker, just better all around, stronger. But the officiating has stayed the same. Like why? She put it perfectly. Go back and watch the post game press conference after the Fever and Connecticut Sun game. She put it perfectly. I don't know if I didn't hear if she got fined for basically bashing the officiating because that's what it was. Like it was completely bashing the officiating, saying that the talent has gone up in the league, but the officiating has gone the opposite way, pretty much. Um,
Right.
and that's really the common denominator is the officiating has stayed the same while the talent has gotten better. Um, and she prefaced it by saying, "Hey, officiating is a hard job. I get it. Everyone's running fast, going quick, but the non-basketball plays are getting a little out of hand."
Right, and I'm glad she brought that up because I think the most important part of officiating is making sure that a game doesn't get out of hand, and none of these referees have really been able to stop that, and that's where you will see a difference in officiating where it's like, hey, we're gonna nip this in the bud right now. This will not continue, and then you get the other referees, like you said, the non-basketball plays that you're taking a lunch break to figure out. You know what I mean? It's insane.
Yeah, those reviews were just like way too long. Like again, I honestly love Marina Mabrey, but like she should not have continued in that game. Like to just get a technical, like really?
Oh,
That and
sure.
like you said, that's where you set the precedent. That's where you teach a lesson and say, no, you're gone. Like that was not even close to a basketball play. The play's been over for like 10 minutes, and then you come in and check her to the ground. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then you eject people with 46 seconds left. Um, Now you want to start setting the barriers with the game.
It's
I mean, the
over.
game was out of hand over. The game was out of hand over on the scoreboard and on the clock. So, like, what the
Yeah.
hell's the point at that time? But yeah, we will see. Speaking of Citron, here you go.
There it is. Represent.
Game-winning three today, by the way. Game-winning three.
Was
All
it
alone in
20,
the corner.
20 something
Clutch.
points?
Clutch in overtime, by the way. All right.
Yeah.
One more. One more. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, hey, I have a day over 20 something points and getting the game winner in OT.
See, Mark, we're celebrating these rookies like they should. All right, one more sports thing I want to get out of the way here. Obviously, hockey is now officially over. We're about almost a week since the Florida Panthers took home back-to-back championships again over this same loser, stupid Oilers team that they beat last year. Canada, once again, you suffering going on 28 years without a Stanley Cup in Canada. Your hockey Jesus has been once again sacrificed. They felt bad for him last year. They gave him the Conn Smythe, which was stupid. But
Yeah.
all right, just final thought on the hockey season. The Panthers winning back-to-back chips.
Well, I mean, I did call it. I called the Panthers taking it. I mean, and I hate that. Not that I'm a Panthers fan by any means, but I knew it would come down where the Oilers would depend on Draisaitl and McDavid, and you just can't keep going back to the well with only two players. I mean, yeah, there was other key players on the Oilers. Don't get me wrong, but ultimately, I felt like those were the only two that were making big plays. Where on the opposite side, you had Reinhart. What did he score? Like 3 or 4 goals or whatever it was that night. So Reinhart had a hell of a postseason. Marchand coming up big. Kachuk always coming up big. And then obviously Hellebuck, arguably one of the best tendies in the league. So I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I forgot. I had a thought slip away, but yeah, I don't know if you saw the the celebration they had. Looked like it was like inside of a club or something, and they were all screaming "F McDavid." It was pretty awesome.
I did
Kachuk,
not see that one.
Kachuk had like a wrestling belt on that said "back-to-back champs," and he said "McDavid who," and then everyone was saying "F McDavid." Classic. Yeah, Reinhart. It's kind of sad when Reinhart had 3 times as many goals in one game than your hockey Jesus did the entire series, by the way.
Right.
And I loved it. In one of the games, I don't remember which game it was. They were trying to hype up Connor McDavid, trying to like say, it was after he scored the first goal of the series for him, and they were like, yeah, now he joins so and so with this many points or goals in the playoffs. And then during them trying to hype up McDavid, Florida scores a goal. It was like the perfect time for Florida to score a goal there.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I missed all that. That's fantastic. Correction, I said Hellebuck. I meant Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky doing his thing in the net for the Panthers. But dude, that's funny. I did see some of the celebrations. I missed that. I feel, as much as they were marketing McDavid and doing his thing. This is the Stanley Cup Finals, screaming in the locker room, and like you said, they do try and make him their hockey Jesus. So I feel that's going to be a lot of crow that they are going to be forced to eat. You can only shove that guy down everybody's throats for so long. And what's this? 2 times in a row to the same team, not counting since he's been in the league, he has not won the big one. So I think they've got to look in the mirror and face that for sure.
You know what they call that, Mark? A false prophet.
And like I said, they created that situation. That's the guy that they got behind. And once again, it came down to Draisaitl and McDavid trying to make everything happen on their own. I felt nothing from Evander Kane. I felt nothing from
that Kane. That guy should. You brought up UFC earlier. That guy should just be in wrestling or fighting. That's all he's good for.
Right.
Like, dude, he did exactly what Marina Mabry did. Like at the end of one of the games, literally went up to somebody and literally like winded up his stick and hit somebody's knee. Like, really, dude?
Yeah.
And then that one game where it took like 10 minutes to get this fight untangled is like you're down like 6-0. Like, get off the ice, losers. Like, you lost. Like, they're just sore losers. They're just little punk bitches, and I hate them.
Yeah, no, I was very now. Here's the thing. Like I said, I was just hoping just because I think it's funny, the long going stat that the Canadians haven't brought home a cup, but so I was already kind of leaning towards the Panthers, anyways. But when you see a team like that fall apart so awfully, so horribly, it's like how. Even if I was an Edmonton Oiler fan, how do you stay behind that? Like you as a general manager, I don't even know that dude's name. You put together a hell of a team, and then they do that. Shit, you should have let the Stars in. That would at least we'd have gotten a better series.
Yeah. So we'll see what the kind of moves I guess both teams make in the offseason. Also, shout out Jonathan Toews making his comeback this season, signed a 1-year deal with the Winnipeg Jets, his hometown team. It's going to be weird not to see him in a Blackhawks uniform, but, he suffered an injury. He hasn't played in 2 years, Mark, so he suffered a really bad injury, working his way back. We kind of went through that here with Gabriel Landeskog, but Jonathan Toews, will be good to see him back on the ice. Again, weird that it's with Winnipeg because he was on Chicago for so long. But by the way, McJesus, Toews has 3 cups. So
that was a dynasty team too in Chicago.
Yeah. All right, 3 cups in 5 years, man. that was a fun ride as well. But yeah, so we will see what both of those teams make. Shame on Canada. Again, was it 1986? Since I think they won the last one. And I think Patrick Wall was the goalie for the Canadians when they last when a Canadian team won a Stanley Cup. So that's where we sit right now. They got to
Yeah,
wait another year.
The Montreal Canadiens in 1993 defeated
93.
the
Okay.
defeated the Los Angeles Kings.
Patrick Wall was the goalie then.
Let me see.
He
See
had
if I
to
can
have been
pull up that
because
roster.
he came to Colorado a couple years after that. A young Patrick Roy, by the way.
I think you're right. I'm pulling it up right now because like you say, we're all reaction, no research.
That was our old mantra. We're supposed to be better now, but
Yep, sure was. He was number 33 in their net that year.
yeah, the Avalanche also have that same 33 in the rafters because he came to Colorado and won 2 more Stanley Cups, McDavid.
Sure
So
did. That was
that's
with
how
Joe
that
Sakic and
that's how
Forsberg, and what a
that's
team.
how that's how that tastes, McDavid.
Be better, McDavo. Be better.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to switch gears here to wind down the show. We're going to do, I mean, since our, I guess, not really media mantra is sports and entertainment. We're going to focus the second half of our shows on the entertainment side. We're going to dive into movies. We're going to dive into TV shows. We're going to dive into just entertainment, maybe some lifestyle in general. It is summertime. Mark, really want to get your opinion on this. What are some of your favorite summertime either activities, entertainment? Is there a kind of a family tradition, travel wise, or family tradition just activity wise, entertainment wise that you enjoy doing, that you like to do, or perhaps would like to pursue in the future?
I love playing in the rocking chair men's league softball, the beer league. So I play that during the summers. My son, usually this is when football camp starts for him, so he's in football camp. My daughter does all of her tumbling classes, and then we're just pretty much outside all the time. We're camping, we're fishing, um, playing sports. I love watching baseball movies during this time of year. I love watching like the old school family movies like John Candy's Summer Vacation, um, those types of things. So yeah, this is one of my. I mean, I pretty much I love summer and then I love Christmas time. Those are my two favorite times of the year. Um, so this is where we get to go out and do a lot of things without having to worry too much about weather. What about you?
Yeah, same as you. Like, I love summertime. I hate cold. Um, so I loved when it was 100 degrees the last 2 days. Didn't really go outside, but I still loved it. Um,
Right.
yeah, and I also love Christmas time as well. I will say that Christmas time in Florida was super weird. It
Ooh,
was
okay.
kind of weird without the traditional snow that we're used to here in Colorado. But yeah, that was definitely a, I don't know if it was necessarily a culture shock, so to speak, but it was definitely a shock nonetheless. So I don't know, Mark. Even on these dating apps, a lot of these chicks are like hiking, snowboarding, and skiing. Yeah. Swipe left. Like I could, like what are some future goals you hope to achieve? As many 14ers as, yeah, swipe left. Like like
Yeah, I'm
could
cool
care
on the
less
hiking.
could care less about, again, the snow is just terrible anyway, so why would I want to ride on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so have no interest in hiking or 14ers, which is basically the same thing.
Yep.
Mark, I will admit, half the time I don't even notice the mountains anymore anyway.
I believe
So
it.
so a lot of people use them as their directional code because you know where west is because that's where the mountains are. But yeah, I don't know. Barbecues, family barbecues are always fun.
Oh, big on
Um,
grilling.
yeah. For some reason, like, I eat a shit ton of watermelon during the summer.
Love that.
Not only is it good, but it's basically 99% water, so it keeps you hydrated. It's a good snack to have. Um, I normally, if you asked me this 5 years ago, I would say baseball, Mark, but I still have not watched a minute of baseball.
I'm proud of you for that. You keep fighting the good fight because the city of Denver and the state of Colorado deserve better.
Hey, they won 5 out of 7, guys. 5 out of 7. They were on a 4-game winning streak there. So I think they're
up to heater.
I think they're up to 16 wins. Yeah,
normally if this is a football season, they'd be all right.
Yeah, they'd be in the playoffs if this is football.
That's right.
Yeah, so normally I would say baseball, but it's just tough nowadays. I'd be all over MLB The Show and stuff like that, but I think this is the third year I haven't even got that game. So
I was a sucker. I got it.
I don't know. Just there's honestly the WNBA has taken up my baseball time. Again, the league pass is fantastic. I know that the Fever and Aces were on ESPN today, so that's where you got to watch that one. Surprisingly, nobody tried to. There was no hit on Caitlin Clark in today's game, so
right.
Aces played it pretty clean today, so shout out to them. Again, another team who had to move their game. They had to play at T-Mobile Arena because Caitlin Clark was in town. So yeah, just the. I kind of miss going to movies. Movies are always a fun summertime type of thing like that. Is there any shows that you're watching right now? Or are you binging anything? I know some of the new stuff really doesn't come out till like the fall.
Usually it's all the fall stuff. I mean, pretty much during the summertime when everything kind of calms down, that's where I really binge on the other platforms. Like, I'll watch Netflix. Like, love Shane Gillis, so I've been killing Tires, the second season of Tires. Also, I'm a huge soccer fan. So the Gold Cup, the United States are in the Gold Cup right now. We're gearing up for the World Cup, which is always a summertime event. Love having that. So I've been watching that on and off. Watching the MLS, San Diego FC, tear it up. So. That and then other shows that I watch, really they're so sporadic during the summer months because being so busy, you kind of just pick up like random shows on Netflix and stuff like that. Like you said, it's really the fall where you start gearing back into what you normally tune into.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do, because of the kind of summertime blues when it comes to television, we are going to get a spin the wheel in here, Mark, and we are going to give each other homework, so to speak. Yeah, it's summer school now, and
I love it.
Yeah, we're gonna be spinning a wheel. Maybe watch a couple episodes of an old show, of a newer show, stuff like that. We'll have genres and stuff. We'll even dive into like our favorite like theme music. When they start a show, the song that comes on. Everyone knows the Friends theme. Everyone knows maybe the Big Bang Theory theme. So we're going to get into all that here down the line. But
Cheers. That's a good theme song, dude.
There you go. Cheers. I think if you turn on a MASH episode, you might recognize that one as well.
That's a phenomenal one as well. I like that.
Low key though. And it's funny because I'm rewatching The Sopranos right now. I just had an itch to rewatch it, but the opening theme music, or theme song, I should say, for that one is a pretty good one as well. So that might be on the list as well. I don't know how much of we can get away with playing copyrighted songs on here, Mark, but
trial by air.
Hey, if YouTube and Spotify takes it down, then we'll say F you along with McDavid. So have you seen did you ever watch The Sopranos?
I did. I got about, so here's the thing. I got about to season 3. And
that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. See, it was just too slow. I really got into it. I'm not gonna lie. When they, what was it, the Serbians that they started going after in the show, I really started getting into it, and then it kind of just slowed down, and then I just felt like it. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's a hot take. I just felt like it never sped up and kind of just fell off.
Yeah. So I never watched it when it was on. Never watched it when they were new episodes and stuff like that. Obviously, it's been on HBO. You could probably have streamed it the last couple of years. So again, when I was in Florida, really had nothing to do. So I binged it all there, and I really enjoyed it. So now it might be become one of those once a year binge shows. But catch the musical opening. I think I want to say the group is called A5 is the name of the group who sings that song. But yeah, maybe an underrated song when it comes to our classic theme songs or when it comes to TV shows.
I may have to give it another shot then, Mike, and give that a watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not a family show, by the way. Not
Viewer discretion is advised.
definitely not a family show. I mean, it is. It was probably what you would imagine what the mob was like in New Jersey in like 1998. I mean, strippers are getting punched. Dudes are getting like strangled with necklaces. Like it's
And wires.
dudes are getting shot in porta potties. Yeah, it's literally getting choked out and getting thrown in a lake, getting weighed down, literally sleeping with the fishes. So that's they show all of that. So it's to me it's pretty
What's the one?
entertaining. It's pretty fun.
What's the one where he catches that dude, that old time snitch dude, when he was taking his daughter to the college or whatever, and he catches him outside and gets him with the wire and chokes him out
Yep. Yeah. That's
right in the middle of daylight, dude, in front of God and everyone, basically.
yeah. Yeah. Connor McDavid was there. Yeah.
Witnessing what a Stanley Cup loss.
Yeah. Yeah. That was his off season because he didn't have a parade that year. But yeah, that's all. That's all coming down the line. We're gonna want to get your opinions as well. So comment and you can even text the show as well. All of our contact information, everything you need to know, is strolling across the bottom of the screen. So you make sure to go to our home base at e5280sports.com. Everything is on there. Obviously, our episodes are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music as well. And yeah, go to e5280sports.com. We'll have your daily wrestling news with Pro Wrestling Daily. We'll have your weekly sports recap in between the lines, all on the front page there as well, and also a bunch of articles too, mostly written by Rashad Mitchell. So make sure you head over to e5280sports.com, and that's going to be a wrap for our premiere episode of On the Mark When on the Mic here on e5280sports.com. We'll have again, flying at the seat of our pants. Thank you for being patient with us tonight. Enjoy Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Enjoy whatever sports that precede the NBA Finals, whether it is WNBA baseball. I know a lot of people are just dead until football starts. So we'll see. We'll see what more cool things we come up with. But that's going to be the basis of what we're going to talk about. So hope you enjoyed it. Mark, any final thoughts before we sign off?
Nope. Looking forward to our new style, and looking forward to diving into new subjects. I think this is going to be fun, and I hope you guys at home enjoy it as well.
All right, that is going to do it for us. For Mark Sexton, I am Michael Spillman. We will talk to you next week.